What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Avengers 5, which should still be called the Kang's Dynasty. It's still officially called that on the Disney slate, which was recently updated, and they haven't changed the title. There are some huge details coming out about Avengers 5 from a trade. Does that make it any more reliable than some kind of Twitter scooper? Not really, but let's roll with what they're saying. So, at the moment, there's some huge changes behind the scenes at Marvel, starting with Deadpool 3. We know they're changing a lot of Captain America 4 and a lot of the Thunderbolts going forward. I think Marvel have a decent plan. They said they want to bring more quality and less quantity, being only 2 movies a year and 3 TV shows. Respectfully and seriously, they should scrap the TV shows because, except for Loki and WandaVision, they were all pretty mid. But it's interesting that Marvel is seeming to try to go back to what made them great, which is good and bad, because we constantly keep hearing Robert Downey Jr. talking about returning. Well, no, he's returning very freaking so soon that you might not see it coming, which is cool. But they can't keep relying on the legacy characters, which it looks like they still will to Avengers Secret Wars at least. So if you're new around here, the frickin' how you doing? Make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that I try to cover on a daily basis. If you could, become a channel member for less than 99p, less than $1. Also, let us know, where do you want them to go with Avengers 5? As we know, we're in a multiversal saga. As we know, based on the first trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, there was a comic book that popped up right at the end that said Secret Wars. So we know it's all building up to some massive incursion wars or something like that. So the fact that some people think Kang the Conqueror isn't going to be involved, or a variation of Kang's not going to be involved, is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Because, yeah, I guess you could say they concluded at the end of Loki, but they were still monitoring the Kangs, and some of the Kangs are out there, and they need to just tell us what the freaking hell happened to Kang the Conqueror when he got sucked up into what most people believed was the Beyondverse, and there may be the Beyond version of Kang, which most people want. So, if you could, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Also, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. Right, let's go into this. So, it's worth saying that this information is coming from a trade being deadline, but it's also worth saying trades get stuff wrong. There was no Snyder Cut. Your boy Warstu kept telling you was. And I was right, there was a Snyder Cut. So go, Warstu, bleep that out. I'm not being serious. So let's break it down. And we'll also go over the original kind of plot details for Kang's Dynasty to see, is there still any correlation? Now, the first detail I think is absolute nonsense. May feature over 60 MCU characters. So everyone expected, now this is for Avengers 5, everyone expected Secret Wars to have every single character under the sun in it, but 60 characters. This would make this like the biggest Marvel production ever, yet alone the production budget would have to be crazy high. Ensemble, instead of a handful of characters leading the team. Thor, Loki, Hulk, Doctor Strange, Nebula, Shang-Chi are amongst the potential characters. Now, why I kind of don't believe this whole 60 characters is because you're literally listing characters that could appear anyway that people already thought were going to be in it. So as we know, Michael Waldron has turned in the latest script. So we know, according to reports, this is still supposed to be shooting either in LA or UK. I mean, they do shoot most of the Marvel movies in England now because they get a freaking massive tax rebate, which means they get 30% of the budget back. So it would make sense. If they're going to have 60 characters, they can't do it can't be cameo level characters. If you're going to bring in every freaking character, you're going to need a lot of money. Main villain is unknown. I mean, that is cap. It really is cap. So why is there so many reports about who's replacing Kang if Kang isn't going to be the villain? Top contender for Marvel's Kang replacement actor turns down prospect. So everyone under the sun is up for the role, basically. Will Luke James play Kang? Essentially, the answer is no. Well, the actor said no, he wouldn't take on the Kang mantle. He absolutely would be interested in another role, he had this to say. Marvel as a whole, yes, Kang the Conqueror, no, but I would not take the meeting. There are so many brilliant characters. There are so many characters I would love to take a look at. So I didn't even know he was up for the running. But yeah, literally everyone is up for the running of Kang. Of course, Kang is still going to be involved. They can't just ditch the Kang storyline because even though Ant-Man 3 didn't do well, a Loki series did pretty well. And most people that watch that still realize that there is a variation of Kang out there who will return at some point. So it's absolutely freaking nonsense. And there was a report from some Twitter scooper saying that Kang would appear in Avengers 5, but there'd be another villain as well. Well, yeah, it is a multiversal saga, and because of the way they dismissed Jonathan Major, it was clear they had some kind of plan. And they can't, I know they've changed writers, and now it's Michael Waldron penning the movie, But they're not just going to ditch the whole Kang storyline. And just because a trade says it, like I say, Trey get things wrong all the time. Sean Levy is the top contender. Marvel is going to meet with other directors while they wait for him to make a decision. Now, I guess if Deadpool and Wolverine does pretty well, they will probably give it to Sean Levy. Sean Levy's a pretty good director. There was an update on this story. Sean Levy already turned down directing it once, but production getting pushed into next year has reopened talks. He was given the script last week, which means if they're giving the script to potential directors, that means the script is basically already, I wouldn't say it's like locked in, but there's a good indication that it's close to being a finished script. But then there's also some information that came out which is a bit weird. So it basically sounds like Sean Levy's got the job, right, but other people could have the job. Sean Levy is reportedly early in talks for the Avengers movie. He has been given Michael Waldron's script, but has not made a final decision. And then there's some other update of nonsense, basically saying, oh, we don't know if of course Kang's going to be involved. And there's been quite a lot of updates since the article came out. Sean Levy was originally asked to direct Avengers 5 in mid-March, but he declined due to the schedule. The current offer is now expected to align with his schedule via THR. I mean, it's interesting. Is Marvel going to keep reusing the same directors? I don't know. I know a lot of people want the Russo bros to come in, but there's so many good directors who should do it. Sam Raimi did a pretty good job with Doctor Strange 2, but I don't think Marvel should go for a kind of nobody director. They kind of messed up previously by using random directors. I think they should use a director that has a lot of credibility and a lot of experience on a production this big, because if this nonsense is right about 60 characters, it's going to take one hell of a director to keep in control of this schedule and keep the movie on track. Because if they are throwing 60 characters at this movie, that means they are literally riding everything on this one movie. So let's correlate this back to an old plot leak that came out way a long time ago. We're talking 2022. So the Kang's dynasty will pull the curtains back on the title villain backstory, revealing how he conquered an endless world around the multiverse. Earth mightiest hero will assemble to battle Kang the Conqueror, getting some backup from Earth 616 Kang Nathaniel Richard, the scientist who later became He Who Remains in Loki. Remember, the villain revealed that he figured out how to stop his variants prior to creating the sacred timeline, and told Sylvie that even if she killed him, the same thing would happen over and over again. Unsurprisingly, Kang will defeat the Avengers, prompting them to traverse the multiverse in Avengers Secret Wars to put together a huge team of heavy hitters, and that will supposedly include characters pretty much from every Marvel movie, including heroes from the X-Men and Fantastic Four franchise, including actors like Hugh Jackman, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. Remember, this came out in 2022. I just think it's worth going over that. So if the initial plan was for every person to come back for Avengers 6, I can't really buy into this 60 characters. Problem with the Avengers movies are every movie has to outdo the last movie. So if you're gonna have 60 characters, what does that mean? Avengers 6 is gonna have to go even bigger? Or are they doing the thing where Avengers 5 is really gonna be the first part of Secret Wars? They could do that, because remember, there is some movies coming out before that. Obviously you have Deadpool, Wolverine, that's gonna set the tone. Obviously we have Captain America 4, which, careful spoilers, don't want to ruin your life. The end of the movie, Sam Wilson is gonna form the new Avengers, and then probably some post-credit scene in the Thunderbolts. But realistically, there needs to be so much setup. But then different websites say different things, and then you have this thing here. Sources close to the project. Okay, sources close to the project of Avengers 5, even though Michael Waldron has only just handed it in and it's being shown to potential directors. I don't believe they would literally email the script over to these directors. It'd be a case where the director comes in for a meeting and then they get to see it. But it does make me laugh. I will entertain these websites. Sources close to the project say there's more than 60 characters that could reprise. Notice how they keep saying could and may, because they're not actually saying anything when they say could or may, including everyone from Mark Ruffalo, he's still active in Marvel, Chris Hemsworth, still active in Marvel, Benedict Cumberbatch, still active, Tom Hiddleston, kind of active, Simu Liu, still active, Karen Gillihan, basically active. Unlike the first four, in which there was a core group that would consist of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Hemsworth, Ruffalo, many of the characters in the film will have equal footing, making it more of an ensemble feature instead of a handful of characters leading team. Yeah, this will also make the movie 10 times more expensive. Now, we know the current release date for Avengers 5, which is called Kang's Dynasty, is 2026, and then Secret Wars, which is going to be the year later, 2027. But some people seem to think the next two Avengers movie are just going to be Secret Wars Part 1, Secret Wars Part 2. Now, it would be cool if there are 60 characters, but I hope they ain't just going to chuck stuff in for the sake of it. But I am a bit skeptical. Oh, but it comes from a trade. I don't care who it comes from. A trade got stuff wrong. There is no Snyder Cut. Oh, wait, the Snyder Cut came out. And trades get stuff wrong all the time. But generally speaking, they do have to be a lot more careful when they put stuff out there compared to, say, a scooper or a YouTuber who generally just re-reports, you know, stories and stuff that's out there. But yeah, I am really excited for Avengers 5. It could be cool. If they get rid of the Kang part, that's going to absolutely suck. Even if Kang's not going to be the overall villain, we know Doom was very pinnacle in the comic variation of Secret Wars, so we do need another villain there. But I do get some criticism going, oh, you're so negative. I'm not. I'm just not going to take anything at face value. I will question the she's into anything when I come across something. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. And I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.